Hey, welcome. If the story moves you, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with us. Amanda waited for Daniel like someone waits for the last piece of a puzzle. Not out of hope, but to complete what was already broken. The door opened. Daniel stepped in, the weight of the day on his shoulders, tie loose, eyes scanning for peace. He saw her at the table, arms crossed. Not tired, resolved. She didn't ease into it. I want a divorce. No pause, no preamble, no talk of therapy, just the final sentence of a chapter she'd already closed in her mind. Daniel froze. His heart raced, but his face stayed still, like his body hadn't caught up with what he'd just heard. He sat down, slowly. I love you, he said. If even a part of you remembers what we built, the girls' sleepless nights, the road trips, the way I'd cover you with a blanket when you fell asleep on the couch. Please look at that before you walk away. Amanda didn't flinch. Her voice was calm, too calm. It's not you. You've been a good man, a great father, but something in me shifted. I need a different life. Daniel swallowed hard, steadying his voice. If that's your truth, I won't fight. I won't drag this into chaos. Not for our girls. We do this with dignity. For a moment, Amanda's expression cracked, guilt slipping in through the space left by his grace. Then she told him she'd been speaking to Chloe, her best friend and, conveniently, a divorce lawyer. The girls' nights, the quiet phone calls, they all clicked into place. She'd planned this. She explained the 90-day separation, said they were free to date others. Daniel flinched but nodded, like someone sleepwalking through a nightmare. He asked about the house, the kids, logistics. She said he should move closer to work. She'd have primary custody, at least at first. He agreed, but firmly added, I'll never be a visitor in my daughter's lives. I want Wednesdays and Sundays. With them. They need consistency, even if this changes everything else. Amanda agreed, distracted, detached. Like a conversation she'd practiced in her head 100 times and now just wanted over. Then Daniel asked the question he was afraid to ask. Is there someone else? Amanda looked away. It doesn't matter. This isn't about him. It's about me. That silence said more than any confession could. Daniel felt the cut. Betrayal in the form of absence, not honesty. Still, he didn't lash out. If this is your path, then walk it. But don't pretend it's clean. There's a cost. 2 little girls still believe their parents are forever. We owe them truth, not damage dressed as freedom. For the first time, Amanda said nothing. Silence finally had its moment. Amanda paused. Her resolve cracked, not shattered. Still, she didn't retreat. It's already done, she said, calm but final. Daniel didn't protest. The fight had drained out of him. He rose slowly and walked to the bedroom. Perched on the bed's edge, he stared at a framed photo by the lamp. Santa Monica, ocean wind in their hair, all laughter and light. It once looked like a future. Now it felt like a staged memory Amanda had already deleted. Back in the living room, he asked quietly, Should I leave tonight? Amanda shook her head. There's time. We'll sort it out. He took his phone, grabbed a pillow, and checked on the girls, both asleep, unaware. Then he returned to the couch. Amanda lingered in the hallway, caught in hesitation, but said nothing. She turned away and disappeared into the bedroom. Daniel lay there, eyes open. His mind replayed everything on loop. The only certainty was that this unraveling would not be neat. And beneath his quiet acceptance, something told him Amanda hadn't even begun to understand the weight of what she'd set in motion. Nothing looked different, but everything was. Daniel brewed coffee, flipped pancakes, routine wrapped in instinct. He called the girls down in his usual gentle tone. Amanda sat at the table like the day before hadn't shattered the foundation. The girls giggled over school, projects, inside jokes that usually felt meaner than they realized. Daniel nodded, smiled, but inside, it was all static, noise. He watched Amanda. She was present in body, absent in spirit, responding like she was reading off cue cards. When the girls headed upstairs, he cleared his throat. "We need to talk about the next steps." They moved to the couch. Daniel had stayed up all night working through scenarios. He suggested a modest apartment near his office, close enough to keep seeing the girls often, avoid long commutes. Amanda agreed. "Makes sense." He offered to keep Wednesdays and Sundays for quality time with the kids. Again, she nodded. No passion, no fight. As if she'd already signed the contract in her head. Then came the tough part, money. He braced for a clash. Instead, Amanda was direct, transactional. "I don't want anything beyond what's needed for the girls' lives to stay stable." They covered expenses, tuition, insurance, extracurriculars, credit cards. Each item they split was another quiet death of what used to be shared life. They discussed the car, jointly owned. Amanda said she'd keep it. He'd be walking distance to work anyway. Daniel agreed. Still, that car was more than transportation. It was history on four wheels. Then she mentioned Chloe. Supportive, legal guidance, emotional ballast. Daniel bit his tongue. He had opinions, plenty, but showing emotion would feed Amanda's growing case. He's reactive, unpredictable, difficult. He stayed silent. Girls' room. Later, Amanda cleared dishes. Daniel slipped into the girls' room. Backpacks, giggles. The younger one fixed a bow in her sister's hair, said she wanted to grow up just like her. Something twisted in his chest. He left before. He sat again, eyes tired, voice quiet. "We can't keep this from them. They'll feel it." "They already do." Amanda hesitated. "Let's wait a few days. We need time to plan." "No," he said. "They'll notice the tension, the silences. It'll only confuse them." She finally suggested the weekend. "Enough time," she said, to find the right language. It broke him. With the house quieter, kids at the movies with their grandmother, Daniel opened a drawer, rifled through papers. An old notebook surfaced. Scribbles, ideas, grocery lists. A diary of a life now unraveling. On impulse, he made a list. Names, women he remembered, brief sparks, missed glances, vague what-ifs. Then he wrote a name he shouldn't. Natalie, his sister-in-law. Regret. Hit like a wave. He struck it out, hard, over and over, until her name vanished under black ink. It meant nothing, just a grasp at proof that he was still alive. A desperate gesture, but it helped him breathe again. Amanda came back from the store with ice cream for the girls. Smiling. As if that was enough to hold the edges together. But the fracture had already spread too deep. Daniel watched her move around the kitchen like life hadn't collapsed. She was putting away groceries like that would somehow patch the fracture. He stepped in, voice low. "You okay?" Amanda didn't answer right away. Just gave him a smile stretched too thin to mean anything. "Yeah," she lied. Daniel tried to keep it steady. "I'll keep covering the bills. But maybe you could take on a little more around the house." That broke whatever quiet truce they had. Amanda turned, eyes sharp. "You think I don't work too? You think you're the only one bleeding here?" The fight flared quick, short, bitter. Daniel didn't push. "I'm not trying to fight. I'm just trying to divide the wreckage in a way we both survive." The next morning, he rose before the sun, made coffee, and walked out to find a new life. 3 apartments, 2 agents, 1 tiny studio near the office. Plain walls, dusty light, but it would do. He signed the lease, 2 weeks till move-in. Back home, the living room was full of cartoon sounds and the girls curled up beside Amanda. He didn't say a word, just walked to the bedroom and began folding his life into boxes. No, tears. Just silence and tape. Amanda passed the doorway, slowed, but didn't stop. That night, a message lit up his phone. Heard about the divorce. Chloe told me. Sorry, man. Daniel stared at the screen. It's true, he typed back. And that's when it hit. Everyone already knew. Amanda had gotten ahead of the wreck, told her friends, lined up her safety net. Daniel was still standing in the rubble, trying to name the ruins. He asked Amanda to pick a day, to tell the girls. No more silence. They already felt the shift. The older one had started asking questions. Why do you leave so early? The little one tossed and turned, haunted by dreams she couldn't name. They sat together on the couch, 4 people bracing for impact. Daniel held the older girl's hand. Amanda held the younger's, with a voice that broke. Only once, he said. Daddy's going to live in a different place. We both love you. None of this is your fault. Amanda tried to add something about grown-up decisions and thinking time. The older daughter's tears came quiet and steady. The younger one blinked and asked, Did you fight? Daniel shook his head. No, baby, it's just life didn't go how we hoped. Afterward, they held their daughters close. Amanda took them upstairs. Daniel stayed behind, alone in the hush that follows heartbreak. It wasn't just a goodbye. It was a vanishing. When he moved into the studio, he brought 2 suitcases, a box of books, and 1 photo frame, the girls laughing in the backyard, last summer. The space smelled like new paint and loneliness. He unpacked slowly, like any sudden movement might make the walls close in. That night was the first in 20 years without Amanda beside him. No footsteps on the hardwood, no whispers down the hall, no giggles in the other room. It hurt worse than the day she asked for a divorce. A few days later, she knocked on his door without warning, eyes red, shoulders drawn like something had collapsed inside her. He opened the door without a word. She stepped in, sat on the edge of his couch like she didn't know how to be there. Silence. Long and cracking. Then, Logan. She spoke his name like a confession, said she thought it was love, said it felt like rescue, said it started after a talk with Chloe, said he'd promised her something new, something clean, but once the divorce papers were signed, Logan ghosted her, cold, silent, gone. Turns out he had kids, a wife, a whole life he wasn't leaving. Daniel didn't blink. He'd already suspected. Amanda kept going. She spoke of shame, of gossip at work, Chloe pulling away, Natalie's disapproval, her life unraveling at the seams. She was spiraling, ashamed, alone, and hoping Daniel would catch her before she hit bottom. He listened, then asked calmly, "Do you still love him?" Amanda's mouth opened, but nothing certain came out. "I don't know. I feel nothing but regret." Daniel stood, walked to the kitchen, brought her a glass of water. He sat beside her, not too close. "I get it. The emptiness. Wanting something. That feels new. I understand. But while you were chasing dreams, I was holding our daughters together. You didn't just leave me. You broke what I was trying to protect." She cried harder. Said she never thought it would come back to hurt her like this. She wanted relief, a lifeline, forgiveness. But Daniel was done bleeding for both of them. When she finished talking, he looked at her, quiet, grounded. "You need to go now. I can't carry this anymore. I'm already holding the kids, this apartment, my sanity. I don't have space for your guilt, too." Amanda hesitated, her voice shaking. "I need someone." Daniel's response was unwavering. "You made your choice. Now face the consequences. She lingered, expecting him to bend. He didn't. With trembling hands, she grabbed her bag and left, guilt clouding her eyes. 2 days later, she returned. I left a code here, she explained. Daniel allowed her in. As she searched the shelves, her eyes landed on his old notebook. Random thoughts, stray ideas, to-do lists. She flipped through it carelessly until one page stopped her cold. Names, women, some familiar, others unknown. But there, among them, was one that sent a wave of nausea through her. Natalie, her sister. Amanda's heart dropped. She snapped the notebook shut, her breath caught in her throat. You made a list of women to date, and you put my sister on it? Daniel's gaze was ice. Yes, I wrote it. And when you asked for a divorce, I stopped owing you anything. Her voice shook with disbelief. This is low. You're playing the victim, but you're the one hurting everyone. He stepped forward, his tone deadly calm. You betrayed me, lied, destroyed everything we built. And now you want to lecture. Me over a list? Her hands balled into fists. You always acted so moral. Now you're just petty and vengeful. He didn't flinch. You walked away. You lost the right to tell me who I can be with. Her face drained of color. The silence between them was suffocating. Tears welled up in her eyes, but no words came. She grabbed her coat, stumbling out the door, the weight of his words crashing over her. Down the stairs, it hit her like a ton of bricks. Daniel was no longer the man she thought she controlled. He was free. 90 days later, the emptiness became unbearable. The lonely nights, the quiet after the girls went to bed. Logan vanished as if he never existed. She reached out to Daniel. They agreed to meet. In a dim cafe, she laid it all out. I was wrong. The divorce was impulsive. I still love you. He listened. Then, without emotion, he said, We'll finalize things tomorrow. Her stomach churned. Are you seeing someone? He gave a small, almost indifferent smile. I don't owe you that answer. But no. Her voice trembled. Are you still with Logan? His eyes met hers, unflinching. Are you? She couldn't hold it in. The dam broke, she realized, with crushing clarity that everything was lost. The next day at the lawyer's office, the end came quickly. Signatures, a few formalities, no emotion. Amanda lingered a moment, staring at the document that sealed their fate. She wanted to speak, but the words felt useless. Daniel thanked the lawyer, slipped the papers into his bag, and left. She sat there, numb. The family she had, once known, was gone. Months passed. Daniel remained devoted to the girls, pizza nights, park outings, bedtime stories. He was present because he wanted to be, not out of obligation. Then one day, Amanda got a message. Come by. We need to talk. She hesitated, but hope flickered. Maybe this was her chance. She rang the doorbell. Natalie opened the door. Amanda froze. Her sister stepped aside. Come in. Daniel was sitting next to Natalie, his expression calm. I'm with Natalie, Daniel said quietly. It's serious. Amanda's world crumbled. She wanted to scream, but the words stuck in her throat. Slowly, she stood, walked out, and left without a sound. The tears came as soon as the door closed behind her. Not because of betrayal, but because of the truth she had been running from. Daniel had rebuilt his life, and it wasn't with her. Summer arrived. Amanda scrolled through social media, her mind numb. Then she saw it, a photo, Daniel, Natalie, the girls, all smiling by a lake, a family. She stared at it, the reality of what she had lost crashing over her like a tidal wave. She didn't like it, didn't comment, Instead, she whispered to herself, barely audible, "What have I done?